Hello, my name's Austin Ward, and today I decided to present to you my presentation on my essay, The Human Impact on Forests. I've decided to take a negative stance on this topic because I feel such a deep respect for the forests, and I don't believe that we as a whole, we don't really respect it enough. As we see on the news, all these places being burned down, forests being cut down, we don't realize what we're doing until it tends to be after it's over. There is so much richness and diversity all over the world that's being ruined and destroyed because we need to make more land for people, or we need more wood for different things, because a lot of stuff is made out of wood, but there's lots of alternatives too. But anyways, to jump into my first topic, it's called urban sprawl, and that's the idea that there is so many people being born that it is forcing them to cut down acres and acres and acres of woods in the Amazon and Ghana, which are the two places I decided to focus on in my paper. It is forcing these places to cut down all these forests to make room for more people and for more farmland too, which causes all sorts of different issues. But the main issue with that is the fact that we're cutting down all this wood, all these forests, and that is taking away the homes of so many different animals that depend on them. The Amazon rainforest has 10% of all biodiversity in the world, which is a huge, huge, huge amount. And a lot of these animals that haven't even been discovered yet rely on these different parts of the Amazon rainforest. So by cutting out this huge chunk of it, you've not only taken away a bunch of land from these animals, but you might have just taken away one of the only havens for some really endangered species that we don't know about, which is huge. Same thing with the plant life too, not even just like actual animals, but there's a rich diversity of plant life. And by cutting down all of that, it takes a long time for trees to grow back. And we're cutting them down faster than they're being replenished. And that's a huge, huge, huge issue. So urban sprawl is causing all sorts of issues like that, and it's also bringing along with it invasive species. Now, invasive species can be anything from different types of lizards that have been brought over, by people. But the one I decided to talk about was cats. Now, I'm a cat guy myself. I've got cats. I got 3 of them. And they're actually considered a invasive species in some areas because they kill native birds, which I thought that was pretty wild myself. But they actually have seen a steep decline in certain species of birds in different areas because of cats, which I thought that was really interesting and really kind of highlights, it really brought to my attention what could be considered a invasive species. And now my next topic is logging and how we're not replenishing the forests fast enough. It sort of is, this topic sort of plays on the lines of both of my other topics, but logging is a huge problem. Now, it's a hot topic as well because people think it's one of those necessary evil sort of deals. Logging, when not under control, becomes a huge, huge issue. Because, like I said earlier, trees do not replenish as fast as you think they would, of course, because it takes them years and years and years to grow. And we're cutting down these forests so fast, we're not giving them time to regrow. Now, yes, we are planting them back, at a fast rate, but that's not growing them. That's not getting them to that adult, that's not getting them to that adult size to be reused again. Trees are a very limited resource on this earth, and we need to not take that for granted. Now, I believe if there's certain systems put in place, we could possibly start to rebuild and replenish, but as it seems right now, with the way the world is going, we're just continuing to cut down more and more trees, which is going to lead to more and more issues as time goes on. Now, I decided not to make a topic of climate change because it was in the no list, so I tried not to put it in there, but as a small note, it does contribute to climate change. The more trees we cut down and the more carbon that is released, which is a very bad thing. On to my third topic of the paper. This was the one that I really sort of honed in on here because this one was really important to me. Was on lots of these coastal areas, it causes really bad soil erosion, where these farmers have taken the land and they've tilled it up over the years and they've raised cattle on it and stuff. It causes soil erosion, which basically is where the soil becomes unusable and has really been deprived of all of its natural goodness. So when something like a hurricane or a natural event kind of comes through there, the soil and the roots kind of hold those coastal areas together, so that way it's not as washed away and it's not so bad. But without that natural barrier there, it's causing so much more damage to these places, which is absolutely terrible. And that is why it's so important that we protect our areas that are most vulnerable. But see, the damage as of right now has already been done to a lot of these coastal areas. They've raised their cattle there, they've done their farming there, they've tore all of the plants and stuff up from there, and it's caused a huge issue. Now that's a fix that needs to be done, but people don't understand how important that is. The human impact on forests has been astronomically awful. We have treated our forests really bad, and it's really time that we start to fix our issues from before and try to build forward in a better way. Now, I'm not saying I'm here to stand on my soapbox and tell everyone to stop cutting down trees because it is evil. I just want to open up the idea of, hey, this is going on. Why don't we look at this in a more of a magnifying stance and take a look at what's really going on here? I think that it is very important that we protect our wildlife, because without our rich biodiversity, then we just have a boring old world. I don't want to get to that point in my life where I see there's just nothing left. I want my kids to be able to experience nature the way that I've been able to experience nature. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Austin Ward, and that's my presentation.